Ladies and gentlemen, introducing, weighing 575 pounds, Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, the Legion of Doom! That's right, everyone. Today was the day. The final piece came in the mail for my Legion of Doom video. And it is going to be quite the video. It might actually have to be 2 parts yet. I don't really know, because there is, going through LOD stuff is like insane. There's just so much of it. So let's get into it. How about that? All right. I've been hyping this up for a while. An LOD video, and I thought I'd do a little intro music there for it with a really horrible Howard Finkel impersonation on behalf of me. And here we go, all right? Now, I could have picked probably 1,000 magazines. And maybe I'm being a little over-exaggerating there, but I could have picked a lot. Because the LOD have been on a lot of covers. I picked the ones I feel made the most sense to show, because it emphasizes something. So let's take a look here. We're going to start off with March 1984 for PWI. The Road Warriors are Tag Team of the Year. Those are the Georgia National Tag Team titles, which technically are the original WCW Tag Team titles. The story, I'll do a quick story about that. Mid-Atlantic bought out Georgia after Vince McMahon fucked over the whole Georgia time slot on Saturday nights. Jim Crockett had the Georgia National Tag Team titles as well as the NWA World Tag Team titles. So he kind of just got rid of the national titles, had the NWA World Tag Team titles, which then became the WCW World Tag Team titles when Ted Turner changed the name. It's really, really weird. Like, the whole lineage of all that crap is just so bizarre. Spring 84 for Wrestling USA. This is the first ever Wrestling USA magazine, and look who's on the cover there. That would be Hawk and Animal, the Road Warriors, taken, it looks like, from that same photo shoot right there with the National Tag Team titles. April 84 of The Wrestler, we get Paul Ellering saying why I had to form the Legion of Doom. Of course, the Legion of Doom back then was a group, a stable in Georgia, and they would eventually use that name in the WWF with Vince. Spring 84 for PWI, Hawk and Animal Under Siege, the NWA's official plan to ban the Road Warriors. Well, that was an interesting article, an interesting story there. I really don't know what, the whole concept of that was. I guess because LOD were destroying their opponents, probably. So they made them out to look more like heinous than they really are. But the Road Warriors didn't stay in the NWA. They actually went to the AWA and PWI, January 85. Awesome destruction. The Road Warriors power to their first world title, winning the AWA World Tag Team titles. That was their first big reign as world champions. It lasted, I think, close to a year, and then they went back to the NWA. The March 85 PWI, the achievements again. The Road Warriors once again win Tag Team of the Year. That's 2 in a row now for Animal and Hawk. April 85 of The Wrestler. Exclusive coverage of this 6-man riot with the Road Warriors and Paul Ellering versus Dusty Rhodes, Tommy Rich, and Ole Anderson. That must have been in Georgia, clearly. So, I don't know, were they still doing Georgia stuff and AWA at the same time? I didn't watch either company when I was a kid, so it's possible that Road Warriors were just going everywhere. May 85, The Road Warriors versus Dusty Rhodes and Manny Fernandez make the cover of The Wrestler here, which makes me think the LOD Road Warriors were doing both companies, because Dusty and Manny would have been NWA Tag Team Champions here? Because like these magazines are dated way ahead of time, right? So I don't know. I know Dusty and Manny were Tag Team Champions in the NWA though. Inside Wrestling, June 85. Paul Ellering squashes the rumors. The Road Warriors are not breaking up. So I don't even know where that rumor came from. Apparently that was a rumor. But don't you worry, the Road Warriors were definitely not breaking up. Sports Review Wrestling, June 85. AWA World Tag Team Title Defense. The Road Warriors, the power and the glory. There looks like Hawk has Jerry the King Lawler in a reverse chin lock, while Baron Von Raschke is in the background looking on, who was the former champion that the Road Warriors defeated. It was Baron Von Raschke, and I want to say, was it the Crusher? I think, if my memory is good with that. The Wrestler, August 1985. 10 days of blood and glory. The Road Warriors invade Japan. So they were clearly, where am I at here? Here we go. Road Warriors they went to Japan. Japanese wrestling fans loved the Road Warriors. Couldn't get enough of them. They were always welcome back. Held many titles in Japan, from 6-man tags to just normal tags. They did it all in Japan. What do we got here? November 85, Sports Review Wrestling. The Freebirds Night of Pain. It takes more than painted faces to be the Road Warriors. So everyone talks about the fabulous Freebirds and the Von Erichs. That was the big feud in world-class championship wrestling in Texas. But the Freebirds also feuded with the Road Warriors a lot of times in places like the AWA and I think even in Georgia for a bit. I could be wrong, but I want to say they did battles there. March 86, PWI. 3 times in a row now, Hawk and Animal are the tag team of the year as voted by us, the fans. And the Road Warriors could do no wrong, apparently, here. They were dominating the tag team scene 3 years in a row to get that award. May 86, a PWI. The Road Warriors want you. Hey, twerp, do you have the guts to meet us? That's right, you could meet Animal and Hawk and have a nice outing with them. I'm not really sure. I do know that I'm pretty sure that photo shoot there with Hawk and Animal and that face paint, it's gonna come up a lot of times, I believe. So I want to say that's I think, I could be wrong, but I know there's going to be some photos of the Legion of Doom here where they constantly are wearing the same face paint. Maybe it's not that one, but you'll see it in a bit. Oh, hold on here. I'm losing things. I have way too many magazines here with Hawk and Animal on it. So let me see. Is it? Yeah, that is. Okay, I just saw it. Yeah, so you will see that coming up quite a bit soon here. August 86 for Sports Review Wrestling. The Road Warriors win the greatest tag team tournament in history, that being the Crockett Cup. They defeated Rugged Ronnie Garvin and Magnum TA in the finals in 1986. And they were the first. They would go in the tournament the next 2 years in a row after that. And I think the farthest they went was the semifinals one year. I remember the Powers of Pain defeated them one year. I think that was 88. Powers of Pain beat the Road Warriors in an upset. November 86, Inside Wrestling. Paul Ellering's own story, how my Road Warriors made Dusty Rhodes NWA World Champion. Probably because Hawk and Animal were beating the living shit out of Ric Flair every other night in these matches. Sports Review Wrestling, February 87. Hawk's leg broken in 2 places. Can the Road Warriors ever be the same again? And there's that photo there, Hawk and Animal from right here. It's the same exact. Or no, it's not the same. I'm sorry. Hawk is wearing different face paint. Animals is the same. But Hawk's he's got red on here and black here. So that's weird. Animal, the same face paint, but Hawk different. I wondered if... I don't think they would have made that black just for the photo. That's just weird to me. Yeah, because here it is again, Wrestling Superstar Summer 87, and Hawk's got the red on underneath. And Animal's got the same face paint. Unless Animal was doing the same exact face paint all the time there, I really doubt that. That seems pretty odd, but maybe the same exact colors in that same way. It's possible. I don't know. Sports Review Wrestling, December 87. We got Hawk on the cover here. Grappling ghouls don't answer the door for these Halloween horrors. And Hawk has many, many cavities. Look at those teeth he's gotten worked on. He had a sweet tooth, apparently, did Hawk. We got The Wrestler. January 88. The Road Warriors will turn bad in 1988. And this is a little more familiar face paint for Animal with the spider on the head like that. That's more of a well-known look for Animal. And they were correct. The Road Warriors did turn bad in 1988. And then when they turned bad, they ended up becoming NWA World Tag Team Champions. So I guess it paid off. Sports Review Wrestling, May 1988. Road Warrior Hawk. When I win Ric Flair's title, I'll wrestle Animal. So I guess they're hyping up an Animal and Hawk match there for a possible dream match. Sports Review Wrestling, September 88. We got the Road Warriors will cripple each other. That is the predictions through 1998. That did not happen. I don't think Hawk and Animal ever wrestled each other. Only once, and that was at Slamboree 96. It was that Lethal Lottery thing. I forget who tagged with who. I know it involved Animal and Hawk on opposite sides, and Booker T and Lex Luger on opposite sides. But I don't remember who Luger was partnered with, if it was Hawk or Animal. But so technically, I guess they did face each other. Sports Review Wrestling, December 1988. The Road Warriors, can the Horsemen survive their wrath? Now we see Hawk, and that's a normal look for Hawk and Animal, right? Except for I believe it's reversed. I'm pretty sure Hawk's black was always on the opposite side. So I think that photo is flipped for that. Yes, it definitely is, because here's the same photo here. The February 89, The Wrestler. We get the Road Warriors, Sting, Dusty, and the fans can go to hell. So the Road Warriors are now villains. They're bad guys. They're heels. And they're ready to destroy everyone and anyone in the NWA. Now we get PWI, March 1989. The year in wrestling for 1988, and the Road Warriors are 4-time Tag Team of the Year winners, losing in 86 and 87. They were winners in 83, 84, and 85, and then did not win in 86 or 87, and came back in 88 with that prestigious honor of being Tag Team of the Year as voted by us wrestling fans. The Wrestler, July 89. This one I just put because I thought it was interesting. It's the Legion of Doom's Japanese Odyssey, why Paul Ellering split up the Road Warriors. So Animal and Hawk did singles over in Japan during that tour. Ironically, just 3 years later, they would do singles again, but differently, because Animal had to retire for a bit. Hawk ended up doing stuff in ECW in Philadelphia. He went to Smoky Mountain Wrestling. He went to the WCW and tagged up with Sting and fought the Nasty Boys and such. So, yeah, a little foreshadowing, I guess. Inside Wrestling, April 1990. Starrcade 89, Night of the Iron Men. There we see Animal and Hawk doing a double team clothesline to Scott Steiner in one of the rare times where the Road Warriors would wrestle the Steiner brothers. I want to say they did it again in 1996 on WCW Nitro, but this was 89. It hadn't happened before, and it hadn't happened after until 96, I believe. I want to say the Steiners wrestled Hawk and Kazuki Sasaki in Japan when they were were they called the Hellraisers, I think, is what Hawk and Sasaki were called. But never Hawk and Animal again until 96 with WCW Nitro. Sports Review Wrestling, September 1990. The Legion of Doom invades the WWF, and their target is Axe and Smash Demolition. As they've been saying for years, were Demolition cheap ripoffs of the Road Warriors? I personally do not think so. Axe and Smash didn't look anything like Hawk and Animal in any way possible. However, if you look within the own NWA itself, you had the Barbarian and the Warlord looking identical to Animal and Hawk. The same haircuts, the same face paint, the same finishing move. The only difference is Animal would lift the guy up on his shoulders and Hawk would clothesline him off the top rope. The Warlord would hold the guy up by his legs and Barbarian would come off the top with a clothesline. So different Mohawks doing different variations of clotheslines that involve the top rope. Both wearing long black pants, like black tights with black boots. I don't know. One says Road Warriors down the side. The other says Powers of Pain down the side in the same font and print. I don't know. To me, that's a ripoff. Demolition looked nothing like that. That's just my opinion on it. To this day, I still don't think Demolition were Road Warrior knockoffs. And my rant is now ended. Sports Review Wrestling, October 1990. We get the Legion of Doom at the top there. It says Legion of Doom, a pictorial history of wrestling's greatest tag team. So let's take a look here and see where it's at. Actually, I need to find it first. Where are you at? Where is it? Page 24. That's black and white, but it will do. We got right here, we see early photos of Animal and Hawk when they were like biker dudes. And then the face paint gets donned, and there we see the shoulder pads we were known to see. The early years in Georgia. And then we got their evolution of the haircuts and the face paint. The AWA and CWA years, meaning Memphis, because both Memphis wrestling was associated with the AWA. The NWA Glory years, when they feuded with the Horsemen and when they, feuded with the Varsity Club and such like that. Beyond the Squared Circle, just various photo shots of Animal and Hawk doing various things in leisures, in, relaxation, and that's it. So there's that. Now we're in the WWF, of course. It's time to make the cover of a WWF magazine. So, October 1990, we get the Legion of Doom, Hawk and Animal bring their guns to bear on Demolition. That's right. The red and black shoulder pads are now here. Gone are the black and silver. They would end up also wearing gold and black at SummerSlam 92 before they left the company. Well, before Hawk leaves the company. Animal leaves about 2 months later, after forming a Legion of Doom tag team with Crush, who used to be in Demolition. And there is picture footage of that on the internet and in wrestling magazines. I've yet to see any video footage of Animal and Crush doing the Legion of Doom thing in against the Beverly Brothers, I believe is who they were wrestling at the time for that. But Animal and Hawk also would wear blue and black shoulder pads in WCW when they came in 1996. Wrestling Classics, November 1990. They snack on danger, the Legion of Doom, and dine on death. This is a complete magazine of all their old stories from years gone by that you may have missed, including other stories like about other tag teams. But you got some photos here. There's that clothesline to Steiner. There's Rick. Well, that's Rick Steiner and one of Doom. So yeah, it's just that one. That's weird. For a magazine about Legion of Doom, they sure are putting other people in there, but I get it. The majority is the LOD stories. The rest they had to fill with other things because Wrestling Classics, for those who do not know, it was kind of like a Wrestling USA or Victory Sports Wrestling where they take old stories that were printed in the magazines and put them in one. And they would do that in the Wrestling Classics, as well as put like 2 or 3 current stories of what's happening at the moment in pro wrestling in there too, to give it enough flavor for fans to buy. So that's kind of the catch, you know. You don't really have to buy Wrestling USA. You don't really have to buy the PWI annuals or the Victory Sports or the Wrestler annuals because they're just old rehashed stories from old magazines. And if you have all those, you don't need them, you know. There's nothing new. Maybe some different colored photos they put in there just to give you a reason to buy it, maybe. But it's never been a good enough reason for me to buy it. And usually if you buy them used, you're not going to find the photos anyhow. So, but yeah, that's what Wrestling Classics is for those who may not be aware. Now we have a WWF program, the Legion of Doom, the new Doomsday Weapon. So here we have the LOD on the program there. They still look great even here in 1990, right? I believe they were still on the juice at times. January 91, Inside Wrestling. Warning to the Ultimate Warrior, the Legion of Doom will lead you to destruction. That probably goes back to the whole thing with Sting and Dusty Rhodes getting, you know, they got turned on by the Road Warriors. And yeah, maybe there was some truth to that. But Legion of Doom never turned on the Warrior, but I could see storyline-wise why people would think that. June 91 for Inside Wrestling, Tag Team Thunder, Rick and Scott Steiner, The Best Is Yet to Come, and the Legion of Doom, Mean and Hungry Again. Those were probably the 2 top tag teams of the early 90s, dominating both companies, right? Steiner's dominated WCW, and the Legion of Doom were dominating the WWF. Inside Wrestling, December 91, we get the hat trick for the Legion of Doom. There's Animal and Hawk with the WWF Tag Team titles that they won at SummerSlam in a great hardcore, no-holds-barred type of match with Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs, the Nasty Boys. It was like a street fight, a New York street fight at Madison Square Garden. That was a really, really fun match, honestly. Go back and watch it, SummerSlam 91, Animal and Hawk versus the Nasty Boys. It was just awesome to see. The WWF Spotlight, of course. This is with Hawk and Animal, the Legion of Doom. This whole magazine is just straight out, you know, Legion of Doom. So if you're a fan of Hawk and Animal, the Spotlight on Legion of Doom is the one to get. I'm lucky enough, too, by the way, that I still have the poster in mind. I just got this, like I said, a few days ago. The poster in it being a pleasant surprise because most of the times when you buy the Spotlight magazines, the poster's long gone. So I think out of all my Spotlight magazines, I believe half of them still have the posters intact. So that's pretty good odds considering it's now 2024 and these magazines are, you know, 30 to 35 years old. And I can still get some with the posters inside. January 92 for The Wrestler. The LOD's championship catastrophe overpowered by the natural disasters. Well, that's not really true. It wasn't the natural disasters that bested the Legion of Doom. It was actually Ted DiBiase and IRS Money Incorporated. The Wrestler, September 1992. Hey, Legion of Doom, go for the title or go away. Wow. Seems kind of bold to say, but again, I don't know where they're finding these photos of Hawk and Animal from. They're definitely old photos like that. Like, they're just, it's ridiculous, right? Like, I don't know. I guess just old stock photos they have. I don't know how else to, to explain it. So what happens here now? The Legion of Doom, like I said, they split up. Animal has to quit wrestling for a while. His back is injured. He's out. The only appearance I remember seeing Animal make was at Fall Brawl 1993 in WCW when he was like with who was it? Sting, the British Bulldog, Dustin Rhodes, and the Shockmaster. Now I heard rumors that Road Warrior Hawk was supposed to be in that match. He was actually it wasn't supposed to be Shockmaster. It was supposed to be Hawk. And I don't know why he wasn't in it. Because I remember reading somewhere that was the original lineup. It was going to be Sting, Bulldog, Hawk, and Dustin Rhodes against Vader, Sid, and Harlem Heat. So Animal was still there to walk those guys to the ring and kind of like be their guidance to help them survive the War Games at Fall Brawl 93. But Hawk ended up, wrestling. Like I said, in 1993, he was appearing in ECW. He was appearing at Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 1994 and ECW in 94. He did wrestle in WCW in 93, though, which is weird. He wrestled at, let's see, it would have been Battle Bowl in November, because him and Rip Rogers were victorious in their tag match over Bulldog and Stevie Ray to advance in the Battle Bowl, Lethal Lottery Battle Royal thing. And he wrestled at a Clash of the Champions against Rick Rude for the International World title, and he wrestled at Starrcade with Sting against the Nasty Boys for the World Tag titles. So I don't know why Hawk couldn't make it for Fall Brawl, but they end up, Hawk does a single thing, does the Japan thing with Kazuki Sasaki. Animal does make a return. They start doing 6-man tags in Japan, and then Hawk comes back to the States. Hawk and Animal team up again to be the Road Warriors in the AWF, trying to win the tag titles from Tommy Rich and Greg the Hammer Valentine. The AWF then folded, and I believe they went to WCW then. If they didn't do that, they were either in maybe they were in WCW first for a while. They were there for like 2 months, like I said. Maybe then they went to the AWF, because like that time frame with the AWF is very tricky, meaning the stuff you were seeing on TV was taped way ahead of time. Like they were like months ahead. You were seeing guys wrestling on that show who were now wrestling in ECW or WWF or WCW, right? It's like one of those deals. Like they were taped way ahead of time. So I'm not really too sure where the lineage lines up where Hawk and Animal with WCW or AWF. But they were both in those companies, right? But the shocking thing was the Monday Night Raw when ECW invaded the WWF Raw show at the Manhattan Center. We also had a surprise from Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom. And here it is on the magazine, July 1997, the WWF magazine. We have the return of Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, the Legion of Doom, wearing the black and silver once again, kind of going a throwback to what they were. And they were being called Road Warrior Animal and Road Warrior Hawk, the Legion of Doom. Their first run in the WWF was Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom. Their run in WCW and NWA was Animal and Hawk, the Road Warriors. Sometimes the Legion of Doom name would get used, but more so as the group with Paul Ellering. They're the Legion of Doom. So for Vince McMahon to finally give in and call him Road Warrior Animal, Road Warrior Hawk, the Legion of Doom, that was kind of a huge step and kind of a little throwback to what they were and to the fans of the Legion of Doom, Road Warriors, right? And of course, last but not least, this is the magazine I was waiting for to come in. As far as I know, this is the last official cover of the Legion of Doom on a WWF style magazine. And it's kind of the end right there. The Legion doomed? Are Animal and Hawk set to go their separate ways? So the story there is Animal and Hawk kept getting bested by the New Age Outlaws, by Degeneration X, by, everyone. They just couldn't do anything. They were tag champions for like 6 weeks. They beat the Godwins, held them for like 6 weeks, lost them in an upset to Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg Jesse James. They weren't even the New Age Outlaws then, I don't think. I think it was just Badass Billy Gunn and the Road Dogg Jesse James. And they ended up losing to them at the Degeneration X in Your House pay-per-view and again at the Royal Rumble 98. So LOD go away for a while. And they come back as LOD 2000. Oh, that was horrible. That was so horrible. The only good thing about that was Sunny was their manager, and Sunny looked extremely hot in her little skirts and bikini tops, or whatever you want to call it, to show off her assets, right? And that I was 17 years old at the time, so that was incredible for me. I would not want to see Sunny now in that outfit because she doesn't look anything like that she did then. But the LOD are the LOD 2000, and they come back at WrestleMania 14. They win the Tag Team Battle Royal, thus making them number one contenders to the tag team titles. And at the next pay-per-view, that would be Unforgiven in Your House, April 1998. LOD 2000 against the New Age Outlaws for the tag team titles, and LOD 2000 lose. Yep. LOD 2000 lose. What happens next with the LOD 2000 is they end up feuding with 8-Ball and Skull and Chains, the DOA, for the rest of 1998. In Your House, May. LOD versus the DOA. And then I believe it's July in Your House. LOD, and I think it was LOD and Draws versus DOA, Chains, 8-Ball, and Skull, I think. I'm pretty sure there was a 6-man tag in there somewhere. Or maybe it was the 6-man tag of Paul Ellering and DOA against LOD and Draws. I don't know, because I remember they happened in October too. Anyways, the In Your House match shows were always LOD, DOA. Except for SummerSlam, which Animal and Hawk lost. I guess it was Animal and Draws lost the on Sunday Night Heat to Brian Christopher and Scott Taylor too much. I mean, wow. So adding Draws to the mix, the whole thing with Hawk, being drunk, that gimmick and angle, Hawk falling off the Titantron, it made LOD out to be idiots at the end. And no surprise, it's Vince McMahon and the WWF. I mean, that's what they do. I think Vince McMahon is the luckiest man alive. He somehow made a fortune off of horrible wrestling. Horrible angles, horrible gimmicks. I don't get it. And yet, well, maybe we're the stupid ones. We keep going back and watching, right? We kept going back to watch everything. So maybe we're just as dumb as everyone else is. So anyways, that, my friends, is the Legion of Doom on the magazine covers. So now, what is everyone's favorite LOD moment? First of all, were you an LOD fan or were you a Road Warriors fan? Me, I was an LOD fan. I was more familiar with their WWF run. I wasn't as familiar with the Road Warriors legacy that was. I remember the first time I saw the Road Warriors was probably 1989, maybe 88, in that area. It had to have been 89. I mean, that's the thing. I remember watching Barry Windham turn on Lex Luger to give Arn and Tully the tag titles, and Barry joined the Horsemen. That was in April of 88. Yet I don't remember the Road Warriors NWA World Tag Team title reign, and that was from October 88 to I think April or February. Was it February 89 or April 89 or something like that? So I don't know. I mean, I guess my mind just doesn't remember certain things because of being younger then. But yeah, so Road Warriors NWA run, I don't really have any memories or I wasn't a big fan of, I guess, just because of that. I was all about the Legion of Doom and the WWF from 1990 through 92. that was my favorite era for the Legion of Doom. Clearly, they had some great matches. And I also find it funny when you look back at the Legion of Doom Road Warriors career, they dominated every tag team that was put against them, like big time names like the Midnight Express, or like the Natural Disasters, or the Nasty Boys, or the Godwins, right? Or who else did they feud with? Doom, the Skyscrapers. These were all these teams that they dominated. But when it came to losing the tag team titles, they always lost them to makeshift tag teams out of nowhere. In the AWA, it was Steve Regal and Jimmy Garvin. In the NWA, it was Mike Rotundo and Steve Dr. Death Williams. In the WWF, it was Ted DiBiase and IRS. And then it was Billy Gunn and Jesse James. Like, these weren't normal tag teams. These were like guys that just joined up one time or two times, and boom, they beat the Legion of Doom for the tag titles. It's just weird when you look back at the Legion of Doom's career that's, what happened. LOD's last final match, I believe, or final happening was in 1999. They were in the WrestleMania 15 Battle Royal on Sunday Night Heat to see who would wrestle Jeff Jarrett and Owen Hart for the tag titles that night at the show. And I believe they wrestled, that may have been their last match for the WWF, or I remember they did something against Pat Patterson and Gerald Briscoe too in 1999 on Raw. But it's a shame that the Doom's career didn't really have a proper ending. The closest they had was Monday Night Raw in 2003 when Kane and Rob Van Dam defended the Raw World Tag Team titles against Animal and Hawk, the Legion of Doom, on edition of Monday Night Raw. I think it was early June of 2003. So LOD did come back for one last match. I guess it was somewhat of a nice way to say farewell and thanks for everything. I think they were in Chicago that night too, actually, probably. I think that's why. Because, LOD were from Chicago, even though they're from Minnesota. But yeah, so anyways, everyone feel free to say what your favorite Road Warriors Legion of Doom memory was, or favorite match, favorite angle, favorite moment, whatever it is. I think everyone loves the Legion of Doom. But yeah, so there you go. Finally, I could give you the Legion of Doom magazine covers. Now I have a lot of work ahead of me. I got to put all these back in proper order, plus the Rowdy Roddy Piper magazines I got to put back too, because they're still sitting here on the floor because I haven't had a chance to do it yet. So that's what I'm going to do tonight for a bit. And it's going to be super duper fun because nothing I love more than just putting all these magazines away because it's just so much fun. I'll probably also update my magazine newsstand rack tonight. I just recently did the June 1987 magazines. I'll probably throw up the June 1988 ones tonight as well when I'm busy watching Monday Night Raw, meaning being very bored while watching Monday Night Raw. All right, everyone. This is a 38-minute video. I haven't done one this long in a while, so I hope you enjoyed it. And until I do my next one, I'll talk to you guys later.